Hey Weirdos, this is Evan Sharvix with Make Oklahoma Weirder, and this is your local music vlog for the week. It is May the 31st, that is Friday morning, and I'm going to kick things off giving a shout out and a kudos to our mayor, Mr. David Holt, who has seen it fit to start a music series in his own office, which is pretty cool. I had no idea this was a thing that was going to be starting, but I just found out, by social media. I follow Annie Oakley, of course, and Annie Oakley is the first artist to be featured in what is being called the City Hall Sessions. So this is really cool. This is kind of like a local city government level take on the NPR Tiny Desk concert. At least that's kind of how I'm interpreting it. It's an intimate space that's not really geared to be a concert space, like NPR has it in their offices at a desk. And here they're actually recording these at David Holt's own office. And so there's a small but engaged, intimate audience that is there for the duration of the performance, which, lasts a few songs. And, really cool. So I'm excited to kind of see where this goes. I feel like government engagement in the arts has been kind of limited, and a lot of local officials talk a big game about, the arts and its impact on the community, but a lot of talk and not much else, at least as far as, the layman like myself can see. Of course, I know there's a lot that goes in to, running a local government, and there's probably a lot that I don't see that happens, which is why it's really nice to have something like this, which is very visible, very contemporary way of engaging with the arts and music community. So shout out to our mayor for, I guess, being kind of the, I want to say this was his idea specifically, and I know that he's definitely had some support for local music in the past as well, has made a point to sort of, make that part of the platform, so I do appreciate that. Speaking of which, Guthrie is another really nice sort of government entity that kind of supports their culture and their arts, especially because, that's a big part of Guthrie. That's a big part of their sort of commerce, especially with out-of-towners. They have theater and music and all kinds of cool stuff up there. It's not just antique shops, So I guess Guthrie started doing a podcast recently. Didn't know about this, but it's called Hit the Bricks. And it's pretty new, but I know Justin Fortney's involved in that, who has been a very prominent voice for Guthrie culture, especially when it comes to music. He's in the band Stranded at the Station, but he's also kind of the brains behind what has become Red Brick Nights. I know other people are involved as well. It's not just one person organizing, but he's sort of been the face of that, in my opinion, at least for folks outside of Guthrie. And so I know he's involved in this podcast. Again, he's not the only person behind the scenes making it happen, but he's the person I recognize. So Hit the Bricks has been showcasing some local music as well, which is really cool. So I really like seeing kind of the local government entities kind of engaging in the arts in a very contemporary way, and it's just nice to see that kind of support, because you don't always see it, and it's something not to be taken for granted at all. Speaking of Guthrie, I do got to mention Red Brick Nights is happening tomorrow night. It happens the first Saturday of every month during the summer months, and so that's well underway. Buddy South is headlining this one, which I'm really excited about because that's a name that I specifically passed along to them and said, hey, I think you guys should book this band because I think they're going to be a good fit, and I do think they're going to be a good fit. I think they're probably going to sell a lot of merchandise if the crowd connects with them. We'll see, but Buddy South, I think, really will hit that that demographic that Guthrie so very much likes, which is pretty much, country meets folk, meets Americana, meets bluegrass and red dirt. You don't really see a whole lot beyond that. But anyway, I know Dawson Hollow is also on that lineup, and then Ryan Evangeline are also on there, who are just one of the best folk singer-songwriter duos, in my opinion, around, and don't get enough attention. Partly just because they're from Guthrie, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, got to move on. Go to Red Brick Nights if you want to check out like a festival type H&H environment, but in like an old town environment. It's really cool. All ages, free to attend. Anyway. Okay. The Sweet Talkers hit me up. I knew that they were coming out with an album, but I wasn't sure. It dropped today, in fact, and I've listened to it. It's called Electric Affair, and in sort of the blurb that they sent me, they kind of drew a line to The Killers as a source of inspiration for their music, and so once I saw that, I really couldn't get it out of my head. This album sounds like The Killers. Basically, it just does. I mean, it's not like 100%, like a doppelganger situation, but it sounds very inspired by The Killers. And definitely since the lead vocalist's range, he kind of sings in a very specific range that really sounds like The Killers lead singer, who I forget his name. I could remember it if I tried. But anyway, Brandon Flowers. But yeah, Sweet Talkers. If that's what you dig, I think this does a really good job at providing that sort of danceable rock stuff. And I've seen live videos of them perform, but I haven't actually seen them. But I know they've got a show happening on Saturday at the Deli, which is one of my show recommendations on the website. So I may try and make that show. There's a lot of shows happening, so we'll see how it goes. But the Sweet Talkers, wanted to shout them out. Thanks for reaching out to me, guys. Adam and Kizzy, I talked about Adam and Kizzy a whole lot last vlog, so if you want to hear about them, go to the last vlog. I talk about them a lot, but they are leaving Oklahoma. We've already had their farewell show at the Tower. I was there, and a tornado was coming through, so it was something else. If you want to see them at a time that there are not tornadoes, hopefully, they're playing Sunday in Norman at Lions Park as part of the Summer Breeze concert series, which is free and open to the public. So if you want to catch you some Adam and Kizzy before they leave, which I highly recommend, do so this weekend. It's one of your last chances. H&H is happening. I cannot find any information about music. So if anybody knows anybody who's playing H&H this year, or if they're even going to have music, I don't know. Let me know, because I really don't know. Twister Fest is also happening. Twister Fest, which happens down in Chickasha. I've never been to Twister Fest. I've asked some artists over the years what it's like. I've gotten a lot of kind of mixed feedback on it, and I'm actually looking at the lineup right now. It happens today and tomorrow, this weekend, and there's like 4 stages, and there's a lot of performances, and it looks like they're all happening in 2-hour increments, which is really weird. That tells me a lot of them are probably cover bands, because I don't know a lot of these names. A lot of them sound pretty country, and then like I've heard of $1.98. I've looked into them before. I think they play a lot of covers, but they do have originals, so it's probably one of those where it's like they just kind of cater to the crowd. But I know there's some locals here: Irrational Consumers, Gypsy, Off-Brand, but for the most part, I don't know if it's really anything. If anybody's ever been to Twister Fest, let me know what you think. I'd really like to know. Okay, almost out of time, but I've got to shout out Matt Jewett, who is doing a live recording at the 51st Street Speakeasy, and that is a really cool space. It's up in the Scotch room, which is on the second floor, and it's like seats 20 people. There was a comedy album that was recorded there last year, and it just had a really nice energy to it. Intimate, but still a really cool live energy. So Matt Jewett of Shut Up Matt Jewett fame coming back to do this acoustic album. Really excited for it.